Everybody will call the meeting to order. We did start with an executive session this morning. Let me just confirm that we announced today's public meeting in compliance with the Sunshine Act.
We did.
Thank you very much.
You want it?
Let's do a roll call, make sure we have a quorum to move forward.
All right, Madam Chair. Commissioner Brentheiser. Commissioner DeBunda.
His screen is present.
And screen's present. I'll count it. Commissioner Ellis.
Here.
Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Lark. Commissioner Lark. Commissioner Rogers. Commissioner Ruddy.
Here.
Commissioner Sweeney.
Here.
Back to Commissioner Lark. You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
All right, well, we can start with the meeting minutes from June 25th. Has everybody had a chance to look them over? And is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Move approval.
Second. Motion in 8 seconds. Commissioner Ellis on the motion, whoever wants to raise their hand. And okay, Commissioner Rogers on the second. Any questions, discussion, corrections, objections? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have minutes. We'll move into the presentation section. I'll turn things over to Tom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let's walk through the financial statements for the commission for the period ending June 30th, 2024. The beginning cash balance was $5,517,000. Revenues for the month were $2.6 million. Expenditures for the month were $2.5, which left an ending cash balance of $5,630,000. On to the Horse Racing Commission. Revenues were $1,186,000. Personnel expenditures were $523,000. Total operating were $162,000. Everything is pretty much in line. There's nothing out of whack. Total expenditures on the commission side were $685,000. For the fiscal year 23-24, total were $7,259,000. Testing, total revenue for the month was $1,438,000. Personnel was $461,000. Total operating was $1,102,000. In that number, you'll see under other specialized services, UPenn that's 2 months for UPenn. It's a catch-up. The other areas are right in line. Total expenditures for the month were $1,564,000. Total operating costs for testing for 23-24 were $13,163,000. On to the promotions.
I have a question, please.
Sorry, Ed.
I understand why the expenditures are shown as overexpended on the budget. Because the department, whoever, required us to reduce it last year. But did that not affect our spending limit? And if it did, how can we go over that?
Real quick, and I'll try to be brief. Let's just start on the commission page where fiscal year to date was 7.2 million and the budget was 6.750. We'll start that page, Ed.
Yep.
Commissioner. Our original, what the commission approved was about 7.6 million back
Right.
in September a year
Right.
ago. And if you look at the testing, that 12 million was close to $14 million.
Right.
GBO came to budget and we basically in April or May, there was a meeting. Tracy went back to GBO at that time and they raised spending authority by $2.8 million. Okay. Unfortunately, based on my understanding of this, what's here you couldn't change. These bills have been paid. I think Tracy made a comment at the time, as long as the bills are being paid, you're okay. So in reality, what the commission approved as a budget or spending authority was about $7.7 million on the commission side. You ended spending up about 500,000 less. If you look at the testing side, where you have $12 million on spending authority and 13.1 in spending, you actually, what you approved back in September was close to $14 million. So you were almost 900,000 underneath that. So basically, to answer your question, spending authority went up. It just is not reflected on this sheet.
Well, I think it should have been. I don't understand why it's not.
All I can tell you is the bills continue to be paid. They weren't hung up on the spending authority. I don't know, Ed. I can't answer that, Commissioner, on the protocol downtown. I'll try to find out for you and see if I can get you an answer.
By the way, Tom, I am here. I listened to all that, so just want you to mark the records that I am in attendance.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner DeBunda. And let's just do a check on Commissioner Lark. Are you with us at this point? Okay. All right, Tom, let's move on to the HISA status update or.
I'm going to finish the financials.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's all right.
Didn't mean to push you.
Under promotions, there's no revenue for the month. The 1% transfer was $1,982,000. We've distributed $1,934,000. There is money still to be distributed in July for the fairs or some of that. And the commission has got about 20 grand that'll carry over, that'll be distributed in this fiscal year. Moving on to the testing comparative month end, total revenue in 24 was a little over 22 million. Last year it was 20 million. You saw a significant increase in the taxes and the penalties. So handle went up significantly in 2024. Personnel costs were 10,360,000 versus 9,004,000. The 9% increase is basically attributed to a union contract that is Commonwealth wide. Total operating expenses were 10,063,000 versus 9,002,000. Most of that reflected increase is in the personnel costs. Total expenditures were a little over 20 million versus 18.6. The last 3 pages are restricted accounts for the thoroughbred breeders, standardbred breeders, and sire stakes. The one issue that I want to make sure is identified for the organizations, the unrestricted cash balance at the end of the year. The beginning cash balance was 7.1 million. There were distributions of 3 million. Revenue was a little over 24 million. Expenses were 22 million, which left an ending cash balance of 5,630,000. The commitments that are still to be paid from last year are 965,000, which left a year-end distribution funding of 4,664,000. On the 4,664,000, based on the statute, testing will receive 50% or 2,332,000. The sire stakes program will receive 25%, which is 1,166,000. And the thoroughbred breeders will receive their 25%, 1,166,000. That formula is by statute. And ends the financial report, Madam Chair.
Any other questions on the financial report? Okay, let's move to the HISA status update.
This is pretty straightforward. If you remember, we had done a series of extensions. George had sent the documents to OGC and the Attorney General's office for final approval. That was done. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. The appropriate parties have been distributed the agreements. This agreement is in full force and effect till 12/31/2024. As far as the litigation goes, you have seen that the Fifth Circuit Court ruled, they split the decision basically that the rulemaking authority was constitutional. The enforcement piece of this was unconstitutional. The commission is currently waiting to see what the mandate says on the specifics on how it impacts Pennsylvania. At this point in time, we're operating as status quo that we have for the last year. That's it on the HIS, Madam Chair.
Any questions? Okay, turn to the proposed marketing promotional fund allocation.
Okay. It's that time of the year again for the distribution of the marketing grant and promotion money. The racehorse development transfer was $1,863,000. The deductions from that are $100,000, which goes to the fair program. Each fair has the ability to get refunded marketing and promotion money of $5,000. There's 20 fairs, that's $100,000. The commission holds on to $20,000 to allocate out on need. And the other deduction is, and we've talked about it before, is the commission in this fiscal year is going to take an economic study under consideration, and there's $50,000 put aside for that. So the distribution balance is $1,693,000. The formula used to distribute this money about the grantees is the same formula that's been in place since 2016. I'm going to finish the presentation and lay out what it is. The vote will not take place here by the commission. It will take place under administrative action. So based on the formula, the Pennsylvania horse breeders will receive $80,889. The standardbred breeders will receive $60,279. And before I go any further, the way this works on the formula of the $1,693,000, 50% is allocated for a statewide program, 50% is allocated to the locals. So I identified what the breeders get. The PTHA for parks gets a little over $259,000. The HBPA, which is responsible for Presque Isle and Penn National, is going to get a total of $145,000. Presque Isle has $54,000 for marketing and promotion there. Penn National has $90,000, a little over $90,000. As far as the PHHA goes, the total that the PHHA has is a little over $186,000. So for Mohegan Sun at Pocono, it's $112,000. Harrah's in Philadelphia receives $74,000. For the MSOA at the Meadows, it's $114,000. And the PHRA under the statewide branding campaign has $846,000. I'll go through the specific numbers, Madam Chair, in the motion for approval for a total of $1,693,000.
All right, thanks, Tom. Understand the final presentation in this section will be by Jason.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on up, Jason. And for the benefit of the reporter, please spell your first and last names.
Name is Jason Klauser, last name spelled Klouser. I'm the Director of Enforcement for the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Commission. Madam Chair, Commissioners, and Directors, thank you for giving me the time to speak about the Organization of Racing Investigators Exchange Program, in which that I participated in last month. So we have a slideshow here behind you guys if you want to follow along. If my clicker will work. It's not working, Nicole. Okay, you can advance it. Oh, this ain't working. All right, so just a little background. What is the ORI? The ORI is a membership organization which was established in 1991 by 22 investigators from across the United States and Canada. They had saw a need for education for investigators and also for Nicole, do you have that? Sorry about that. it's not working again, but anyway, they had saw a need for education and education for investigators, and also some kind of type of network in which investigators could all speak with each other due to trainers traveling between state to state. And this is being very hard for me not to be able to read what I had written down.
Can you advance the slide, Nicole?
All right. Anyway, so based upon that, the first conference was held in at Portland Meadows up in Oregon, which is no longer around. And from there, each year since then, since 1991, they've held an annual training conference, which moves around the country. Most recently, the conference this past year was at Parks Racing, in which Pennsylvania Racing Commission and Parks had all worked together to bring it together. It was one of the best conferences so far that we have had as an ORI. We continue to get accolades for how great of a conference that we have put together here. So each year our membership continues to grow. We have approximately 130 members, and I have 7 countries. It's actually 8. They are from the United States, Canada, Ireland, England, South Africa, Australia, and France. We are comprised of a 12-member board of directors in which I serve on. I've been serving on the board of the ORI since 2018. First serving as a sergeant at arms, and also then serving as the vice chair, the chairman, and now I am currently serving as the immediate past chair. So why did we establish this program? Through our connections through the other countries, the board of directors have been talking for a long time about how we could get more international participation and how we could somehow put together a program for Europe. So this year, through our contacts with the British Horse Racing Authority and Irish Horse Racing Regulatory Board, we were able to put together this program. And the program was to collaborate with international regulators, exchange best regulatory practices, and enhance equine health and safety, and also to maintain the integrity of horse racing across the United States. So our program sponsors were the only way we were able to make this happen, and that was through, we had sponsorships from Hanover Shoe Farm, Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, Breeders' Cup, Keeneland, and also the Racing Officials Accreditation Program. And I would just like to thank at this time also Russell Williams and also Jeff Maddie for their continued support of the program this year. There was no way we were going to be able to get it off the ground without them. So the program, it was conducted June 9th, 9 to 24, 2024 of this year. We spent 1 week in Ireland with the Irish Horse Racing Regulatory Board. We spent a week in England with the British Horse Racing Authority. And there was a few of us that went out there. The individuals were from Arizona, Kentucky, New York, Ontario, and obviously Pennsylvania. So what did we do in Ireland? Our first stop was at the Curragh, which is where the Irish Horse Racing Regulatory Board headquarters is at. I don't know if this will work yet for me. We also stopped at the Irish National Stud, where you can see a couple of the babies sleeping on the grass. We got to stop at Ballydoyle Training Facility with trainer Aidan O'Brien. We got to stop at, I think it's working now, Nicole. We got to stop at Coolmore Stud which is right next to Ballydoyle. We stopped at Leopardstown Racecourse, and then we stopped at Downpatrick, and here's a little video at Downpatrick that Nicole's going to play for you there. I thought this was so awesome watching the jump races. I enjoyed it. So, the Curragh was established in 1727, and everyone that knows me knows I love history. So to put that into perspective, it was 50 years before the American Revolution. They started racing horses there. That's going to be a continuous theme throughout this presentation. There's some places where it was in 1127 that they started racing horses at, which just really brings it into perspective how long they've been racing horses in both Ireland and England. So the Cur is Gaelic for the place of the running horse. While we were there, we got a tour of the facility. We got to speak with the IHRB staff and their directors about horse racing in Ireland. And this was my first step into how things were going to be different. So they have at each meet 4 race day stewards. 3 of those are volunteer and 1 is a full-time employee of the IHRB. They have approximately 20 volunteer stewards that are throughout the country, and then they have, I believe 6 full-time stewards. And the 1 full-time steward during racing is there to guide the other 3 stewards and advise them on policy and procedure and violations and regulations. So I thought that was pretty different, you know. So we got to go to Ballydoyle, which was an absolute incredible facility that Aidan O'Brien runs there. It's approximately 900 acres. It was the size of a small township. They had paved roads and stop signs, and I never seen anything like it in my life. This is one of the gallops that he was training horses at when we got there. They would go all the way down this and then come running back up. There was a picture earlier where it showed the line of horses coming down, and he checks these horses. You have 30, 40 horses lined up, and he will check with every single horse and every single rider to make sure everything's okay and they understand their instructions. And he does it very quickly, and he knows everyone by name, and it's pretty incredible to watch him do what he's doing. He has about 300 horses in training at that facility. This was the swim barn that was there. He also has a high level of security at his facility. I mean, the whole facility is behind a fence, the entire 900 acres with security in a guard shack. I mean, nobody can get on and off there without somebody knowing. They have roving patrols throughout the whole facility. And there's also a castle that's there that was built in like the 1300s or something like that, which was pretty incredible. When we asked Mr. O'Brien what he thought we could do better as regulators and what he thought the future was, he told us equimetrics. And this is a picture of a horse wearing this. So what equimetrics is, it's a remote monitoring system of horses which monitors their temperature, their respiratory and heart rate, their movement, and this can be accessed from anywhere in the world. It's stored on the cloud, and it will send you immediate alerts if there's anything that is going wrong with that horse, or if there's anything outside the threshold for that horse that you have it set at. So he thought that was the next thing in horse racing that we should be looking towards, which I thought it was pretty interesting. We got the Downpatrick Racecourse next. It was established in 1685. As I said, the years are going back. It's the oldest race course in Ireland. Here's a kind of a view of what the course looks like. The entire time we were over there, I did not see one oval course. Everything was all kinds of different shapes, which I thought was really awesome. Downpatrick is a 1.4 mile course, and it is like a roller coaster. It's up and down and around the corner, and it's just very awesome. This is a view from the finish line looking out towards where you go down and around the corner. While we were there, we worked with the veterinarians while they were doing their pre-race inspections. This was something that was just totally unique to Europe that I didn't even know was going on. They don't have pari-mutuel wagering. They have independent bookies, and they have each of them have their own tote boards. And if you don't like the odds one guy's giving you can go on to the next guy and get the better odds you want over there, which I thought was pretty awesome. This is a video here, and this is the stretch of them doing the stretch run up to the finish line, which I just think it's funny that they're going up a hill to the finish line, but it was pretty awesome. From England, from Ireland, we traveled over to England, where we met with the BHA. Our first stop was at Royal Windsor Racecourse, which was a beautiful facility. We then attended 2 days of the Royal meeting at Ascot. We went to the LGC laboratory where we did a tour. We got to go to the British Racing School. We visited the National Stud. we got to go to the British Racing Museum, and this is a photo of an 1800s jockey scale, which I thought was pretty interesting. So very different from how technology's advanced. We wrapped up at Newmarket, the town of Newmarket and Newmarket Racecourse. And then we also, while we were in Newmarket, stayed at the Jockey Club rooms. The Jockey Club's rooms were built in 1752. And as they told us, they have drapes in the dining room that are older than the United States. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So our first stop was at Royal Windsor Racecourse. It was opened in 1866. It's right next to Windsor Castle, so we had we were able to eat right next to Windsor Castle, and we didn't get to go in because we were limited on time, but we at least got to get a picture outside of it. And then the BHA took us on a boat trip from the Windsor Castle to Windsor Racecourse on the River Thames, which was about a 10-minute ride, but it was very nice. It is a figure-8 race course, which I thought was just, again, very, very interesting. And the finish line is on a turn, 1 mile, 4 furlongs. Very beautiful course. We got to spend some time with the stewards while we were there. This is a view from the open stewards box at the facility. There they have 4 to 6 race day stewards. Only one of them will go up to the box. The rest of them are all down in their office watching on a big screen or monitoring from a screen at their own desk, which I thought was very interesting. And that was a common theme throughout every racetrack we were at in England. This is the best thing I think I saw. I really enjoyed this, was the Clerk of Scales technology. So the Clerk of Scales has technology here that it's a computer program in which when the jockey steps up onto the scale, he has to capture his weight, and it's automatically live feeded to the stewards and also to the tote board, so the wagering public can see the individual's weight as they're coming across the scales. It makes it absolutely tamper and foolproof, which I really enjoyed. I thought this was probably one of the better things that I saw while I was over there. And just as a side note, the gentleman that's sitting there is the Clerk of Scales, who's also full-time clergy. So I think we were able to trust him while he was doing his job. From there, we went to Royal Ascot, and it was pretty incredible. The course was established in 1711, and the royal meeting began in 1768. We assisted the veterinarians at Royal Ascot in the mornings. We also assisted the investigators conducting inspections in the yard. We got to observe the stewards and work with those guys. This is a picture from the stewards box at Ascot.
Can we ask everybody to please make sure they're muted? Somebody broke loose from the group mute.
Oh boy, now we got to go back. I got it, Nicole. We're good, I think. My apologies. Okay. So on to Royal Ascot. We assisted the veterinarians, assisted the investigators with their inspections. We got to spend time with the stewards. And we also served as a racing official for those days. We had access to the entire facility. We were in the royal enclosure. This is a photograph of all of us that were in I kept calling it the paddock, but I kept getting yelled at. It's called a parade ring. It's not a paddock over there. So I kept getting yelled at for that. But it was very incredible while we were there. I was going to put some videos in here, but we were, I was about 6 feet from the King of England and also the Prince of Wales, which was, I couldn't believe a boy from Schuylkill County was going to get that close, to the royalty over there, which was just very awesome experience. And I have 2 videos here of just the racing, just so you guys can see. One, the the facility, you can see the grandstand and also just the amount of runners that they had in each of those races. So this is the first one. And you can see the grandstand in the background. It's just an incredible, gigantic facility. And then the amount of, I think there was about 30 some runners in this race here, which is very, very, very different. And as you can see, we had beautiful weather. I mean, you couldn't beat the weather. Everyone kept telling us that. They said it's normally rainy and cold in England, and we had probably one of the best weeks for weather while we were there. So from there, we traveled up to the town of Newmarket, which was probably one of the incredible towns I've ever seen in my life. The whole town is there to service horse racing. So the first horse race was held there in 1174, which again, just incredible. There's about 3,500 horses in training. This is one of the yards that was there. Just a beautiful barn and incredible facility. There's two race courses there. The Rowley Mile and the July course. This is a photo of us at the July course that we attended. The course and the gallops are maintained by the Jockey Club. This is one of the public gallops that's there and right outside of town. One of the other things I found there that was pretty interesting is they have horse paths throughout the town, and in order to change the red light buttons when you want to cross the street, the red light buttons are at horse height, so they can just reach over and push the button. So I thought that was pretty cool. And while we were there, we got to go see the British Horse Racing Museum, and that's just a photo of us after we did the tour at the Horse Racing Museum. So just to talk about some of the differences and kind of go over everything we did. I mean, obviously the length of each meet is very different from what we do here in the United States, and especially here in Pennsylvania. Each course, they only race 1 or 2 days and they move on to the next place. Each course only races about 15, depending on the course, can race anywhere between 15 to 30 days a year. That's it. For instance, at Downpatrick Racecourse, when we were there, they had a total of, to include track personnel and front office personnel, they only had a total of 6 full-time staff, and everybody else was volunteer. And when racing comes to town, the entire town comes out, and it's just so incredible to see it. I think you guys saw a lot of the photos there where you can see the crowds in the background. It's a part of their culture. Horse racing is in Europe, and Ireland and England anyway, is part of the culture as baseball is a part of our culture here. It's just what people do, and it's just so awesome to see. Next biggest thing I noticed, there's not one outrider and not one pony person. The horses are, I noticed, to be they're a lot more calm. They didn't over there. I did notice that. Obviously, there's no stable areas at any of the racetracks. They just have the yards. They're essentially all shipping facilities. The horses arrive for racing that day. However, the BHA and the IHRB have access to all trainer yards where they train at for any type of inspection that they see fit. As we spoke, there was no pari-mutuel wagering. Each track has independent bookies. One of the big things I really enjoyed was the education. They just have very good education for their horsemen. Number one, in Ireland specifically, in order to get to take out a new trainer's license, you have to sit through approximately a 3-week course that you have to take before you can even apply for your license, which I thought was something very good. And then also they have just very good training for their regulatory staff and investigators. Over there, the trainer is responsible for their staff. So for instance, the trainer is licensed. The stable employees are not licensed. So if a stable employee, for instance, would get a human drug positive, the trainer is responsible for that, not the stable employee. So I think it holds them to another level of integrity. Obviously, as we spoke about, the clerk of scales technology is something that was very different, and the number of stewards that are at each meet. So the similarities that we ran into were the equine drug testing is very similar. Especially at the British Horse Racing School, and the they have a research facility just as we do. That Mary runs down at the New Bolton Center. They have a similar facility like that, similar researcher. The way they test their horses is all very the same. Their human drug testing program is very similar to ours. Their pre-race vet checks, their post-race vet checks, and also the way they collaborate with their horsemen is I would say is very similar to how we here in Pennsylvania collaborate with our horsemen in the racetracks. So the suggestions that I had after going over there and spending some time and seeing everything that we saw and being a part of this whole thing, there was a couple suggestions that I thought we could do. So I think we can do something relative to an investigator training program. So the ORI is going to begin establishing an investigator training program. There is none in the country other than the ORI's training conference. Racing Officials Accreditation Program and the USTA and all that, they certify and license judges and stewards and clerks of scales and racing officials, but there's nothing for investigators. So the ORI is going to begin establishing a certification program for investigators, but the only way this program is going to be successful is if it's supported by the larger racing jurisdictions, such as California, Ontario, and Pennsylvania included. That's the only way this program is going to be successful, and I think it can be successful, and I think it's a good idea, because if we can train our investigators, I think we will be able to attract and retain employees when it comes to investigators. So a steward and training program, while we were over there, obviously when we were especially at Royal Ascot, we were able to meet individuals from nations across the world. And I spoke with some people from Japan and also South Australia and some other countries, and they have what's called a steward and training program. And what this is they hire individuals right out of college, and they send them to steward school, and they send them to judges school, and then they spend a few years as a fourth judge in the box, where they are learning how to do the job, and they're traveling around their individual countries, getting their experience. And then when a judge or steward needs to take a vacation day, they fill in. And then when a position becomes available due to retirement or a vacancy, they slide right into that position. And it's very seamless. And with the struggles that we find to find qualified individuals who have already attended these programs, I think this could be something that Pennsylvania could look at to implement. I think it would be very good for us. But anyway, I think our continued participation in this exchange program is paramount to the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Commission. We can expand our knowledge, give us ideas of what else is going on out in the world, and it places Pennsylvania on the international stage. And I just think if we continue to do this, we can every year we can make improvements here in Pennsylvania. I think that we should look at the clerk of scales technology that's out there for a foolproof system. I think this is I believe the future for the clerk of scales, and I think it's something that we should look at. I think we should look at establishing some type of trainer updates where they have to come in and do whether it's 8 hours or 16 hours of yearly update training, educational wise, because that's one of the big things they do very well over in Ireland and England is their education.
Can I interject a question? You mentioned that you saw that they had to take a training course to even get a license. How did that work for you? Is that part of what you would do besides the updates?
Well, that's something that Ireland does specifically, where they have 3 weeks of training before you can apply for your license. I don't know. What I'm suggesting is that maybe we can look at some type of yearly update training for the
That's once
trainers
you
to
have
keep.
your license. I'm suggesting, do you agree with kind of that there should be some training before you even get your license?
Yes, absolutely.
So how would you see that working with respect to the updates too?
Well, I think for update training, I think we would have to look at, we would have to consult with Dr. Robinson, our veterinarians. We would have to consult with the directors. That way we can provide a curriculum that could be attended by the trainers each year, in which we can keep them updated on current trends and the things that, biosecurity for their barns and ways to stop environmental contamination, I think would be one of the first places we could start at.
Okay, let's go back to what I originally asked this question. Should they have to go through a course to get their license, and how do you see that working? What would you think would have to be part of that? I know you have to talk to the commission, and you have to talk to the veterinarians, but how do you see that working in terms of your regulatory responsibilities to make sure that the person who gets that license is somehow has met a minimum amount of requirements to get that license?
Commissioner, let me jump in here just for a minute. Jason has gotten back and talked to Tony on the harness side and myself on the thoroughbred side. And some of these ideas require more vetting. I think what Jason would like to recommend to us, and we would come back obviously to the commission, is a more defined program. I think at this stage, Commissioner, there are a lot of details that need to be filled in. I think Jason is trying to just articulate some of his thoughts. Some of them may be doable, some of them may not. We're just not quite at the stage yet to get into that detail.
Certainly plenty of examples, though, of other places where Pennsylvania government licenses professionals who then have a continuing education requirement of some kind, right?
Yeah, I thank you for that, but I don't want this to come off the table, because I think that anybody who comes into the state, the license should have some minimum requirement. But I understand you want to put more meat on the bones here. I understand that. Thank you for your effort.
Were you finished with your?
What's that?
Were you finished with your slide deck?
No, not yet.
I've been rushing everybody today. I might as well rush you.
So some of my personal takeaways from this whole program, from the participation and just kind of sitting back and recollecting on everything that we did, was I think this program was a great affirmation of our current mindset here with the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Commission when it comes to equine health and safety, drug testing, and investigations and enforcement. I think it shows that we are right where we need to be. However, I also think that this program has given us ideas on how we can improve and how we can constantly evolve and improve what we are doing. And we do that through things like maybe the clerk of scales technology. We could look at, education, the steward and training program, or the investigator certification. I think we need to continue our collaboration with the racetracks and horsemen. I think that's one thing we do very well here in Pennsylvania. We work very well with Jeff Maddie and Parks and Chris McElwain and Eric Johnson and Todd out at Penn National and Eric and just all the horsemen at all the racetracks. I think we do a very good job with our collaboration. We're always working together because we're all here for the same thing. And if we don't work together, we're not going to survive. But I think we do that very well. And then kind of thinking about this, I think our role as the commission is not to wait for the horsemen to violate the rules, cross the line, and then we stomp on them. I think our job as the commission is to guide them along and help them not cross that line in the first place. And that's through education. So what's the future of the program? Racing jurisdictions in Europe and the South Pacific have expressed interest in partnering with the ORI and the United States jurisdictions to expand the program through international collaboration, which will enhance the integrity of horse racing on a global scale. Does anybody have any questions? No? Thanks. All right.
Any questions for Jason? All right.
Okay, thank you for
Keep
your time.
Keep chewing on it. All right, that
Thanks.
concludes the presentations section of the agenda. Now we'll turn to administrative actions, principally beginning with the marketing promotion fund allocations that Tom described earlier.
All right, Madam Chair, I'm going to do 7 motions. They have to be done individually. So,
And for each, I will take the yeas, the nays, and any abstentions that may be appropriate.
thank you, Madam Chair. The first motion, Madam Chair, would be to allocate and distribute to the PA Horse Breeders Association the amount of $80,889.
Hello? You hearing us okay?
Once again, Madam Chair, the PA Horse Breeders Association, the amount of $80,889.
Is there a motion to approve the allocation to the?
Commissioner Lark.
Thank you, Commissioner Lark. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Sweeney. Okay. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention for Commissioner Jones. Anybody else? Okay, motion passes.
Next motion, Madam Chair, is to the Standardbred Horse Breeders Association, an allocation and distribution in the amount of $60,279.
Thanks. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Second, Commissioner Ellis. Any questions on this one? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. He should.
Any opposed?
You abstain.
Any abstentions from this one?
I want to go back to, if I may, Cheryl, my mic was muted. I abstained from the Thoroughbred breeders because I do own some PA breds and I do get breeders' money, so I don't want to look like I'm voting for something that I would benefit from. So
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. That's 2 abstentions then for that prior one for the Horse Breeders Association.
Thank you.
Any abstentions on the Standardbred breeders? Okay, motion passes there as well. We'll move on to PTHA.
The next motion, Madam Chair, is an allocation and distribution to the PTHA for parks in the amount of $259,050.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a motion for Commissioner Sweeney, second for Commissioner Ellis. Any questions on this? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Thank you, Commissioner DeBunda. Motion passes. HBPA.
The next motion, Madam Chair, is to the PAHBPA for Penn National and Presque Isle in the amount of $145,297, of which PID would get $54,901. Penn National would be allocated $90,396.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. Second, Commissioner Ellis. Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Back to you.
Next motion, Madam Chair, is to the PHHA for Pocono and Chester in the amount of $186,720, of which Pocono would receive $112,342. Harris at Philadelphia would receive $74,378.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Commissioner Ruddy. Is there a second? Thank you. Any questions?
I prefer to abstain on that particular matter based on being involved in the board.
Thank you. Questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions beyond Commissioner
Same,
Brenizer?
yeah.
Okay, motion passes.
Next motion, Madam Chair, is for the MSOA at the Meadows in the amount of $114,600.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. Second to Commissioner Ellis. Questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Final motion on this matter, Madam Chair, is an allocation and distribution of the marketing money to the PHRA for a statewide branding campaign and a statewide campaign in the amount of $846,835.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Ellis, Commissioner Ruddy on the second. Questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Oh, sorry. Any opposed? Now I'm rushing the commissioners. I need to stop that. Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes.
Moving
Brings us
on
up
to the next.
simulcast calendars.
To the simulcast, Madam Chair, a motion to approve the simulcast calendars for the harness tracks for August 2024 for Harris, Philadelphia, Pocono Downs, and the Meadows.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Commissioner Brenizer. Is there a second?
Second.
Give it to Commissioner Jones this time. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next motion, Madam Chair, is to approve the simulcast calendars for the thoroughbred tracks for August 2024 for Parks, Penn National, and Presque Isle Downs.
Thank you.
I
Is
make
there a
such a
motion?
motion.
Thank you, Commissioner DeBunda. Is there a second? Commissioner Jones on the second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Into some ratifications.
Motion to ratify the Standardbred Bureau Director's approval for Pocono Downs at Mohican, Pennsylvania, to move its post time on Sun Stakes Day, August 17th to 2:30 p.m.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Commissioner Brenizer on the second. Questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Final motion, Madam Chair, is to ratify the Standardbred Bureau Director's approval for Pocono Downs at Mohican, Pennsylvania, to add 3 live race days, November 18th, November 19th, and the 23rd in 2024.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Is there a second? Commissioner Ruddy, questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all. We'll turn to industry report. Tony?
Okay,
You're
Madam Chair. Just a reminder for everybody online to please spell your name and state your association for the benefit of the court reporter. We'll go to Scott Lisha first from the Meadows. Scott?
Thank you, Tony. Scott Lisha, last name L-I, S as in Sam, H-I-A. Director of Racing here. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. July, very busy month for us here. We went off with a big bang with our Ludicrous
Did he call
concert
you?
on
Cheryl?
Hello?
with our Ludicrous concert. I'm
Hold on
sorry.
a second, Scott. Commissioner DeBunda, did you have a question? Okay, never mind. Sorry, Scott, please continue.
No, thank you. Thank you. We had Ludacris here on the 19th, an evening concert. We did not race that day. But around 4,000 people, great crowd. We came back the next day, had our limbs for Adios. Everything went great. We trained in the morning. And, should note, we had the concert and the stage on the track. So was able to turn everything around. Everything went great. So it was a fun, interesting event. And that led us into Adios, which was this past weekend, Friday evening. The MSOA hosted the event and did a family fun night. We had great racing. We had the PHRA was out in full force, as they always are, and we'd like to thank them very much. We had a match race with the Tratter House folks that was very interesting. And then we rode into Adios Day, capped it off with a really great day of racing. nice crowd, a lot of fun. Everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. We had our fourth largest handle since going back to 2009. That's about as far as my records go. We did just a little under 1.3 million in total handle and 142,000 on track. So it was a wonderful day, and I'd like to just thank everybody, my staff from the racing office, maintenance crew, track crew, the F&B, mutual security, all those people, and most importantly, you know, the horsemen here that participated, the horsemen from out of state and other parts of the state that came in to support the product. And really, last but not least, the state police mounted unit that has come out and supported us the last couple of years, presenting the colors, escorting the Adios horses over to the track, and doing some meet and greets on the apron the Friday evening. So it's really a great collaboration, and I appreciate everyone. And then lastly, I'd just like to take one moment, I'd like to just, over the years and working in this industry, you know, we kind of have a bunch of entities, no disparaging marks to anyone, but they can be self-serving at times. And this week marks the end, I guess, of Kim Hankins' tenure here. And Kim, as much as anyone, supports his staff, supports his people, supports his membership. In the short time I've been here, we've had our arguments, we've had our disagreements, and we've also worked really well to get some things done. And the one thing that's very refreshing about Kim is he kind of gets it that, you know, sometimes you have to work for the best of the industry. And when we kind of put our personal agendas aside and work towards a common goal, you can accomplish some really good things. I've seen that in the last 3+ years that I've been here. And I think Kim's record shows that he's done that a lot in the state of Pennsylvania. I want to personally thank him for what he's taught me since I've been here, for his friendship, for his guidance, and I wish him nothing but the very best as he moves forward. And thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Well said, Scott. Thank you. We'll go to Mike Zellinger from Pocono. Mike.
Thank you, Tony. Commissioners, it's Mike, M-I-K-E, Zullinger, Z-U-L-L-I-N-G-E-R. So handle remains strong here at Pocono. For the first 80 days of racing, we are up 5% over last year, so things are going fairly smooth. We did lose one racing day here earlier this month due to a water main break in the area that couldn't get cleared up in time for racing. So that was unfortunate, but it's in the best interest of everybody to cancel that day. So as we move forward, we're preparing for our Sun Stake Saturday, August 17th. We appreciate the approval for the post time change on that day to 2:30. Trying a little something different with the that change, going a little bit later in the day. So we hope that generates a little extra handle for us on that day. And lastly, but not least, our Stablegate Road will be paved August 7th, 8th, and 9th of this month. So next week, we'll have a brand new road coming into the paddock area. That's all for this month. Thank you, Tony.
I think you made everybody's day, Mike. Thank you.
I think so, too.
Okay. Barry Brown from Harris. Barry.
Thanks, Tony. Barry Brown, B-A-R-R-Y-B-R-O-W-N, Director of Racing, Harris, Philadelphia. So for the month of July, we were able to add Wednesdays. If you recall, in June, we ended up taking the Wednesdays out due to struggles with filling Wednesday racing, but we've had 5 successful, or tomorrow will be the 5th successful Wednesday race card. With August coming, we go back to our traditional 3-day-a-week, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and that will remain for the balance of 2024. Thank you very much.
Hey, Barry, thank you. Joe Wilson from Parks. Joe?
This is actually David Osajanak, D-A-V-I-D, Osajanak, O-S-O-J-N-A-K, Director of Racing at Parks. Just thank you, Tony, Tom, and commissioners for giving me the time to speak. We at Parks are on our break for our summer vacation from racing from July 29th to August 14th. 3 weeks will no live racing. It'll let us recharge our batteries for the end of August and September, where two big months of the year are. We return to live racing on August 19th. Saturday, August 24th will be Smarty Jones Day. I call it PA Derby Cotillion Preview Day. We have 6 stakes races, which will serve as preps to 6 of our stakes on PA Derby Day, which will be September 29th. Monday, August 26th is PA Day at the races. I was working with Brian and his team. With the breeders, we're going to be offering over $1 million in races. $1 million in purses for the races that day, including 4 stakes races. About a week ago, there was a press release that Presque Isle and Parks are going to be combining on two simulcast wagers. With Matt Ennis and his team at Presque Isle, we are going to be offering the Keystone Daily Double, which will be the Presque Isle Mile. They race their big day on September 20th, and our PA Derby, and we have also the Pennsylvania Pick 4, 2 of the big races at Presque Isle, with our Derby and Cotillion on September 21. So we're looking forward to working with Matt, and hopefully these 2 wagers will be successful and draw attention to our sport in Pennsylvania. And I think that's all for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. Eric Johnson from Penn National. Eric?
Hello, appreciate you giving me a few moments. Not a whole lot to report, but I would like to just mention the fact that on July 5th, we had a special post time for the 7-race card, and in which we mixed in camels, ostriches, and zebra racing for the day. And the only reason I bring that up is because we happen to set an all-time record handle to the best of my knowledge. I estimate attendance record, but we estimate numbers in somewhere in the neighborhood of 14,000 showed up that afternoon to watch the exotic racing in addition to the live racing card. So it was a great way to expose our product to fans that normally wouldn't see it. We based the 14,000 estimate on the fact that we had 10,000 actually go through the casino that day, and the apron was absolutely packed. It exceeded all our own expectations. We took a pretty good beating on food and beverage and everything else. But, we live and we learn, and we will be much better prepared for next year. Also, coming up on August 23rd, Fan Appreciation Day. Lots of food specials, lots of stuff for the kids, free hat giveaway, and then we'll wrap up the meet at the end of August there. So a good summer so far for us. We're excited about a little bit of a break here and coming back with the roar for the fall and the winter.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Matt Ennis from Presque Isle. Matt?
This is Matthew Ennis, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, last name E-N-N-I-S, Senior Director of Operations at Presque Isle Downs here. Here at Presque, we're close to halfway through our 2024 season. One positive note is we are seeing our on-site attendance to be up year over year. We're very excited about that and the attraction it brings to the Erie community. Yesterday, we had our PA-bred Princess of Selmar Stakes. It's good to see Brian from the breeders here presenting the trophies, which was a very competitive race. We were very excited about that card. Next 3 Mondays, we have 3 HBPA stakes, and we'll have paid close to $500,000 in stakes race over the past 5 weeks. After that concludes, we're very proud of that and looking forward to the nominations in these races. And as David had mentioned, on behalf of Joe Wilson, we're very excited for our PID and Parks Masters and Parks PA Derby Day coming up in late September. Tomorrow, David, Joe, Wilson, staff, myself have a final call in our planning phase to make sure we are on board with tote and there are no interruptions. We appreciate the commission's approval for this. We're very excited to promote Pennsylvania racing in this regard and look forward to the partnership going forward. And I notice Ashley is on this call. I would like if she would be given a moment to speak to kind of catch us up to speed on her advertising efforts that she has put forth for this. She's done a ton of work for this, so if Ashley doesn't mind speaking, I would appreciate that. And that is all I have at this point. Thank you, Commission.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Ashley, would you like to take it from here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Yes, so we have been working with both Parks and Presque Isle on helping promote this upcoming Pick 4. We're super excited about it. We kicked it off with some logos and did a press release here about 2 weeks ago announcing the partnership and just making industry publications aware that this is going to be a really exciting day for horse players, 2 days for horse players in Pennsylvania. So super excited to be a part of it. We do have some efforts going forward as we end here in August. We'll start up some paid social media ads and targeting horse players. We'll have some digital banners up on Equibase and also be putting out a couple more press releases as we get closer to race days.
Okay, thank you, Ashley.
Yeah.
Mike Coran from the PHHA. Mike?
Thanks, Tony. Mike Harant, M-I-K-E, last name H-A-R-A-N-T, with the PHHA. Just want to, right now we're watching the weather at Bedford. We're trying to get fares and we're dodging rain, and so far we've been successful. Post time's at 3 o'clock, so hopefully we can get the race day in. I just want to congratulate Scott and the team out at the Meadows for a great day they had out there. Good racing. Looked like a very nice day, which leads me into Pocono's big day coming up August 17th. Mike touched on it a little bit. We're going to race at 2:30. I'd like to invite everybody out. Should be a good day, and we're going to try some things with some new pools, some guaranteed pools like the Meadows did, and hope to have a nice big handle day. And last but not least, I just want to thank Kim Hankins and wish him well. I'm sure I'll still be talking to him, but I just want to thank him for all the help he's given me through the years, and really enjoyed the time I've had with him, and we'll still be in touch. So thanks, Tony.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Normally we would go to Kim Hankins here, but I'm going to ask the commission to indulge and let me save Kim for last. We'll save the best for last today. So we'll move on to Jeff Matty. We'll come back to you, Kim. Go on to Jeff Matty from the PTHA. Jeff?
Thanks, Tony. This is Jeff, J-E-F-F, last name Matty, M-A-T-T-Y, Executive Director of the PTHA. Just wanted to take this time to thank the commission, thank the commissioners, especially thank Tom Chukas, Jason Klauser, Ishmael, and their entire team for the backstretch work they did last week. I know they were, searching the jockey rooms and the stable gate and the barns. And I know, Tom and Jason put a heck of a lot of work into it, and it was very well received by our community. It's clear that we all want the same thing, an equal and level playing field. And in order to achieve that, I think more tasks and more projects like this need to be done. So we look forward to an ongoing great relationship with Tom and the commission to make these more prevalent. And I'd like to thank Joe and Parks. It's a joint effort. It takes all of us. We're very proud of that. So I just like to thank those gentlemen and thank the entire commission. And then secondly, as David mentioned, we have Smarty Jones Day on August 24th in partnership with Parks, the PTHA. We reached out to NBC Sports Philadelphia. I think I may have mentioned this before, so you can catch live racing action on NBC Sports Philly from 3 to 5 o'clock that day, highlighting our prep races for the Pennsylvania Derby on September 21st. So very much excited about that, and our horsemen are getting a well-deserved break, because once we come back, we'll be all systems going. Looking forward to a great fall season. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Todd Mosteller. Todd, are you on the call? Nope, no Todd. Mike or Jim Simpson, Standardbred Breeders? Mike or Jim? We'll go on to Brian Sanfratella, Thoroughbred Breeders. Brian?
Hi, Brian Sanfratello, BrianSanfratello. As Matt had said, I just pulled in a couple of minutes ago from Presque Isle yesterday. Had a fantastic time, great race, $100,000 Princess of Sylmar, 10 entries, and everyone ran. So everyone was pleased to see that. So it was a great race. Commissioners, if you look at your packet, you'll see the page 1 is the deposits into the breeding fund. This year we are down 1.8 million over last year. PA Day at the races, August 26th. I think just about everybody said a little bit about that. We'll have $1 million in purses that day, 4 stakes. And will be Larry Colmus will actually be there that day representing FanDuel TVG. So it'll be a great day. On PA Derby Day, September 21st, we'll begin our 2-year-old PA sired, PA bred stallion series. And the very last page goes into, that I put in your packets, goes into that stallion series. There'll be 6 races with that. There'll be, all 6 of them will be $100,000. 4 of them will be as 2-year-olds, and the last 2 will be the same group of 2-year-olds when they turn 3. This year, the only change in that was instead of the $50,000 bonus going to the trainer, $50,000 bonus will be going to the breeders. So the top 3 breeders who have horses with the highest points will receive $25,000, $15,000, and $10,000. Any questions? No?
Okay, thank you, Brian.
I'd just like to thank Kim Hankins for the time that I was able to serve with him. Fantastic gentleman, and he's always thought of the group first. So thanks, Kim, and have a great retirement.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, Kim, you have the floor.
All right. Well, first off, I want to thank you all for your good wishes and sentiments. Kim Hankins, KimHankins, MSOA. It's been a great ride, and I appreciate all the support and help from the commission over the years. Tony and Tom have done a great job, and I thank the commissioners for their help and all the things that you've done for us over the years. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good collaboration with all of you, and looking forward to seeing you all again, just not in this capacity, but we'll get together again.
Kim, this
Commissioner DeBunda, I want to thank you. I've worked with you for many years. Wish you all the luck. And can I ask a question? Can we pass a resolution of some sorts, picking up some of the previous comments and others, to thank him for his service to our industry?
I think that's a fine plan.
That's what?
Thank you, Sal.
Was that a motion, Commissioner DeBunda?
Yes, I can make it a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions or discussion? Producing a certificate or some recognition for Kim Hankins for his many years of service to the industry, to the commission, to the racing public. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Kim, I'd just like to say, I know this probably seems like the long goodbye for you over the last couple of months, but on a personal note for me, I've worked with you for the last 5 or 6 years, and I couldn't have a better person, a more honest person, a more straightforward person, a true gentleman. You know, you're the definition of a gentleman. And while we might have had differences, we always came to some sort of an agreement. You always fought for your horsemen. You did what was best for them. And, you know, I appreciate the way you handled everything over the years. And I know we're all replaceable, but they're going to have a really hard time replacing you, my friend. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that very much. And like I said before, I still live in the state. I'm a breeder now, so I'm sure that we'll cross paths, all of us, at some point or another. And I look forward to doing that. And I'm still available if anything comes up that I can help my horsemen in the future. Any kind of advice that you'd wish from me, I'd appreciate it and look forward to it. So thank you very much. And I'm a gentleman farmer with a couple brood mares and a couple babies. So I'm still somewhat involved. And like I said, I look forward to working with y'all and seeing y'all in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. I don't think there's any public comment, is there, Mike?
No,
Madam Chair?
no requests, sir.
That's it.
All right, that will conclude today's agenda. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I'll just note that our next meeting will be on Tuesday, August 27th, back here in conference room 309 or on Teams. Is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Commissioner. Is there a second, or did everybody just say yes? All right, thank you all. Safe travels to those of you who drove in, and we'll catch you all next month.